about this Tank Davis and Frank Martin fight that's on pay-per-view, Amazon pay-per-view. Shout out to all my peoples out there who's free streaming this fight. You know, I hear a lot of people say you're not a real boxing fan if you stream boxing fights for free. Well, okay, I'm not a boxing fan because I'm streaming it for free. It doesn't matter what you think or what you guys say. If I could watch boxing for free, why should I pay for it? Especially for a fight like this. Why should I pay a pay-per-view fight for a guy who's been off 14 months and is picking an opponent that he's going to clearly beat? Like, the odds are stacked against Frank Martin for winning. Like, if Frank Martin was to win tonight, it would be like a Buster Douglas moment. Matter of fact, it wouldn't even be like a Buster Douglas moment, because at least Buster Douglas, prior to fighting Mike Tyson, had fought and lost to good opposition. So if Frank Martin was to win tonight, it wouldn't even be like a Buster Douglas. It would be bigger than Buster Douglas, probably. And I'm just being facetious. But the only way that Frank Martin is going to win this fight is by outboxing Tank Davis, right? Right? Because Tank Davis is more of a counterpuncher. Also, he's a boxer puncher. You know, they compare Tank Davis to Mike Tyson. He doesn't fight like Mike Tyson. He's not a baby Mike Tyson. Chiquita Gonzalez was a baby Mike Tyson. That's a baby Mike Tyson. Tank Davis is not a baby Mike Tyson. People are comparing him to Mike Tyson because of the knockouts. No, I don't see a lightweight in his division that's like Larry Holmes. I don't see a lightweight fighter in his division that's like Trevor Berbick, that's like Tyrell Biggs. Where's his fighter that's like Tony Tubbs at the lightweight division? Show me. Show me where Tank Davis is fighting a Pinklin Thomas at 135. He isn't. So let's not compare Tank Davis to Mike Tyson, because to me, there is no comparison. Okay? Absolutely not. But if you go on BoxRec, right, and you look at Frank Martin's record, okay, so these new boxing fans, they like to call him this big puncher, okay? He has 18 wins, he has 12 knockouts, right? Okay. Prior to fighting his last fight, okay, his second before his last fight, he was still a prospect. Okay? He was still a prospect. And he fought Artem, whatever that guy's name is. I can't remember his name. Artem Harutianan or something. I can't remember his name, right? He was supposedly no longer a prospect. But that guy was 12-0. So which one of those, of his last two fights, which one of those fights where Frank Martin was no longer a prospect? Because if I'm no longer a prospect and I'm about to fight Tank Davis, then my fight before Tank Davis shouldn't be a guy that's 12-0. All right? Everyone is trying to make it. A lot of you boxing fans out there, you Tank. Salute to my bro Jedi. Good morning. A lot of you boxing fans out, you Tank Davis fanboys, are trying to make it seem like Tank Davis is fighting someone worth talking about. But in the same breath, you guys are saying this is going to be an easy win. It's going to be a knockout. It's going to be an easy win. Leonard Ellerbe in the press conference, and he wasn't being sarcastic. He said that Frank Martin is not on this level. That Frank Martin, you're not ready for this type of this level of opposition. Tank Davis was making fun of Frank Martin in the weigh-in because he was so drained he had to sit down during the weigh-in. He was sitting down. Tank Davis was making fun of his eyes because of how drained he is, and I believe that there's a rehydration clause as well, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Salute to UGC. Salute, Black Horseman. Yeah, Frank Martin is on when you on a 14-month layoff. When you on a 14-month layoff, right? You don't go into the wolves. You take a what? You take a tune-up. That's what you do. That's why everyone is worried about Spence going directly into the wolves after taking a beating from Crawford and then being on a long layoff. You know, the reason why Spence is on the long layoff, it's not because there's no fights. He was probably advised by his doctor to take a long break. And rightfully so. You take a long break, you slowly get back into boxing, you start sparring, you take punches slowly, and then you build it up. Progressively, you keep going and have harder sparring sessions as you go on. Then they'll say, okay, I think I'm ready for the big dogs. I think Spence should be taking a tune-up like Frank Martin is about to be for Tank Davis. Tank Davis was on a long layoff because he's just lazy. Tank Davis is on a long layoff because it's part of their plan to see everyone else fight each other, to wait out certain fighters. This is a whole 14 months of someone like Lomachenko getting older. And then after this fight, we in June, most likely Tank Davis is not going to fight again this year. He's probably not going to fight again this year. So Frank Martin was literally a prospect. Now, I'm not talking about YouTubers and us like boxing channels. I'm talking about actual factual boxing reporters. We're just calling Frank Martin a tune-up. And now these guys all of a sudden are the same writers who are saying Frank Martin is this great boxer. Frank Martin he's really slick. He has good power. All of this, but just before that, he was a prospect. Just before that, he was a prospect. He's not this big puncher. Like everyone keeps saying he's this big puncher. Okay, let's say he is a big puncher. He looked like he's super drained. Ryan Garcia was a big puncher. Is a big puncher. He was drained. Did he have power against Tank Davis? No. Why? Because he was drained. So even if Frank Martin is this big puncher, he's not going to have that punch on fight night. Period, point blank. You know, every fighter needs to fight Tank at 140. If Tank moves up to 140. So everyone, like, if y'all gonna bet, forget all this. Oh, I'm gonna bet Frank Martin. I'm gonna do this, and I'm also gonna bet Tank, and I'm gonna bet whatever the odds is. Bet on Tank. He's not losing, guys. He's not losing. He's not losing. Amazon Prime needs Tank. PBC needs Tank. PBC is losing a lot of money. From what I'm hearing, there's not a lot of sales for this fight, right? So in order to make sales, they trying to bring attention to it real quick, right? Leonard Ellerbe picks the right time to step down as the CEO of Floyd Mayweather Promotions. How ironically, he steps down on the day that Tank Davis shows up to a press conference. Floyd Mayweather, ironically, has Richard Schaefer as the new CEO, and he's holding up Guinness Book of World Records and all this old nonsense of the most boxing sales or whatever, pay-per-view sales or whatever it was that they kissed Floyd Mayweather's behind and gave him a reward. They picked all these times. Tank Davis is all of a sudden now beefing with Floyd Mayweather. Same blueprint. He's always beefing with Floyd Mayweather. Soon as if there's a fight, there's a beef with Floyd Mayweather. Because these fighters today still need someone like Floyd Mayweather, who is a retired fighter, to sell fights. I mean, you can't make this up. How can boxing fans not see this? You mean to tell me that Leonard Ellerbe, with the biggest nostrils in the history of mankind, decides to step down as a CEO of Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s promotions right on the day of a press conference where Tank Davis decided to show up? He didn't show up before that because he said that the promotions of Amazon, promotions of the fight was bad. Okay, he used a different word, ASS. He said it was bad. Then he deleted the tweet. All right, he deleted the tweet. So he didn't show up. Supposedly the sales are bad. Now all of a sudden, let me get up here. I'm stepping down and all this. Come on, y'all. They trying to sell this fight. Guys, it doesn't. If Frank Martin don't get a knockout, and I don't care if he outboxes Tank Davis, because he possibly can. And I'm not going to write Frank Martin off like that. He possibly can outbox Tank Davis. Okay, Tank Davis has been on a long layoff. Frank Martin is a decent boxer from what we've all seen. It's just that he's not fighting the type of opposition that shows us that he's that type of level boxer. You understand me? So in order for Frank Martin to really win this fight, and I hate to get political, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but you're gonna have to knock Tank Davis out. You're gonna have to knock him out. Y'all saw the Pitbull Cruz fight. That fight was super close. Super close. It could have been a draw. And I've seen Tank Davis fans coming up with all these little minute little reasons for, well, Tank Davis, he was blocking the punches with the end of his elbow, and he blocked the punch. I seen him block the punch with the shoelaces of his glove, and I seen him turn slightly and miss. Cruz missed the punch by 1 millimeter, one little millimeter. All right, that's how desperate these boxing fans was getting for that fight because it was so close. And guess what? There was no immediate rematch. There wasn't no immediate rematch. You know what happened? You want to know what happened? In my opinion, the quote unquote advisor said, no, we're going to have you, Cruz, move up to 140. So we could have another fighter that's going to, in another weight class, generate us money. We're going to leave Tank at 135. Y'all know damn well that little short munchkin Cruz can make 135. Easy. He's the same size as freaking the dude who beat Ford recently, Ball. He's the same size as the guy Ball. All right? Y'all got this short munchkin fighting at 140 who left the division for a reason. All right? PBC is desperate right now. They desperate right now. Frank blamed Floyd for his resume, but he is still fighting the same opposition. Either way, they are weight drained on their CB level fighter. Yeah, these fighters is C level. These fighters is drained right now. I don't know what's going on with these fighters. Frank Martin looks like when he's not boxing. I don't know if you guys seen the guy training, but the guy's back is gigantic. His biceps are gigantic. And I don't know, maybe he's lifting weights or something during his off season, but that dude is a gigantic lightweight. All right, he's gonna be drained so hard, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Cruz got a way bigger head than Ball, though. Hey, he do though. Cruz got that big old head. like one of them dogs, like a cane corso or something. Big old head like a cane corso. But Frank Martin does have a chance to win. You got to take advantage of the long layoff. You got to take advantage of, if it's true, all the outside problems that Tank Davis is going through. But you could tell from the press conference. I mean, the suspect. I don't know why Tank Davis acts so suspect. Like everything he does is pause worthy. Everything he does is close to LGBT. It's just like what's up with you rolling in the ring and you doing all this little antics, and it's just weird to me. Like the way he speak. I don't know. I don't know. Like he's like, it's like I never seen a boxer who tries to sell a fight and talk his smack, but it's coming off like you a person who identifies as he, thee, they, and there and all that, and was and we. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but I just think for this fight, in my opinion, it's not pay-per-view worthy. Pay-per-view worthy is Tank Davis fighting Lomachenko. That's pay-per-view worthy. I mean, you about to fight Frank Martin. Keyshawn, who's better, y'all? Keyshawn Davis, who y'all think is a better prospect? Because Keyshawn Davis is no longer, he fought a legit fighter his last fight. I can't remember who it was. But he fought a legit, who did he fought? Pedraza, somebody? I can't remember who he was. But who is better? Is it Frank Martin or Keyshawn Davis? Who was better? He fought Pedraza. Tank looked like a shortcake. Hey, for real. Y'all tell me, who's better? Frank Martin or Keyshawn Davis? Let's keep it a buck. Keyshawn Davis is more pop. I mean, is so watched. He had Teofimo Lopez in his feelings when he was all in his face. And Teofimo Lopez fight at 140. You feel me? Keyshawn Davis, this dude's a prospect. Frank Martin's a prospect. Listen, Tank Davis was saying to Spence, you here for a check, brother. You here for a check, brother. Them guys know that Frank Martin is a prospect. They betting on good luck and faith. They betting on good luck and faith, and they betting on hopefully Tank Davis has a bad and off night. Because it happened, guys. It happens. It happens to some of the greatest boxers in the world. Some of our ATGs, some of our GOATs had off nights and lost to obscure opponents. And a lot of the greats came back and avenged those losses. And a lot of them sometimes couldn't for reasons why. Maybe the boxer quit. Maybe the boxer lost, kept losing to other fighters, and it just wasn't worth it. But whatever the case is, they just had an off night. Remember when Frankie Randall beat Chavez? And I'm not saying Frankie Randall is an obscure opponent, because the guy is a really, 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 really talented boxer. But prior to fighting Cesar Chavez, if I'm not mistaken, the reason why they picked Frankie Randall is because Frankie Randall was on this super long-ass layoff. On this long layoff, excuse me for cursing, y'all. On this long layoff. So that's why they picked him. And guess what? Chavez lost. Underestimated his opponent, and he lost. It was a bad night. Came back, and he avenged that loss. Frankie Randall was already done by then, but he still avenged that loss. It happens. Boxers have off nights. It happens. Right? So, what's going to take place? Right? What's up, Athletic Mind? So what's going to take place? I'm in the cave. I'm in the garage. Sound like I'm on the toilet, huh? Sound like I'm in here dropping a deuce, talking boxing. But what's going to take place? What do I see? I'll be honest with you. I don't think this fight's going 12 rounds. I think Tank Davis is going to play it out. Wait till Frank Martin is getting a little tired because he looked weight drained. He looked super weight drained. No disrespect to my Somalian brothers at all. Somalians are beautiful black people. The beautiful black people. Men and women. Beautiful black people. But y'all saw the movie. With Tom Hanks. I seen somebody make a meme where they said Frank Martin looked like the Somalian dude that kidnapped Tom Hanks on that boat. Again, shout out to my Somalian people. Y'all some beautiful black kings and queens. But that dude in that movie looked scary as hell. Scary as heck. All right? Dropping lows in boxing talk. Shout out to my boy Jedi. Dropping them ones, the ones that break in between. It don't come out whole. It break right in between, and then it hit the edges of the toilet and leave the streaks. But y'all saw the movie, right, with Tom Hanks. I can't remember what the movie is called. But that's what they said. That's what they said that Frank Martin looked like. To me, Frank Martin was looking like Michael Jackson in Thriller. When he was standing face to face with Tank Davis, I was like, oh, what? Nah. Doom 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 doom. My boy was looking like straight Michael Jackson on Thriller. When the camera had panned close to his face and then went back with the sunken eyes. Doom 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 doom. My boy was out there like straight Thriller, y'all. Come on, man. So, my prediction, Tank Davis is knocking Frank Martin out. He's probably going to knock him out between the 8th and the 10th round. Now, if he doesn't knock out Tank Davis, if Tank Davis doesn't knock him out, then Tank Davis is using him for rounds. Y'all remember when Roy Jones Jr. used to be making his comebacks and would go 12 rounds? He would always say, I need the rounds. Y'all remember when Floyd Mayweather came back on the long layoff? When he fought baby Marquez, undersized Marquez, came in on the scale, didn't make weight on the scale on purpose? What did Floyd Mayweather say at the end of the fight? I need the rounds. If this fight goes 12 rounds, it's because Tank Davis need the rounds, guys. In my opinion, this is a pay-per-view sparring session, a pay-per-view heated sparring session. That's what I think that this fight is going to be. Yeah, Frank is sloppy. He is sloppy. He's super sloppy. He is. Rodolfo Rivera, salute. Salute Rodolfo Rivera, man. Salute. Salute. Rodolfo Rivera, longtime friend on here. Salute. Yeah, I think he's out of there in 6. That's what I'm saying. Listen, Frank Martin, he's your average athletic fighter. But athleticism doesn't always equate to being a good boxer. Cesar Chavez Sr. was a great boxer who could move forward and still be in a great... The boxer doesn't never... I made a video on it. You don't have to be a boxer who moves off the back foot. You could be a good boxer moving forward. Joe Frazier was a good boxer who could move forward. Cesar Chavez, a good boxer who could move forward. Aaron Pryor was a good boxer going backwards and forward. Right? Like, you could be an aggressive fighter and still move forward. Athleticism doesn't equate to being a good boxer. Frank Martin is your average decent boxer. He's nothing great, it's nothing good. He's just that. He's an athletic guy. But I don't think he has enough experience, and I don't think he has enough tools to beat Tank Davis. I understand that Frank Martin beat Virgil Ortiz in the amateurs. I get it. He even floored him. Guys, that's the amateurs. It's the amateurs. It doesn't mean Camacho's a 140. Ken Camacho is an ATG straight up. Period, point blank. Chavez having impeccable defense coming forward. That's what I'm saying, Outlaw Boxing Club. Chavez, that's why Chavez and Pernell Whitaker was so good of a fight. Because you got a guy that could go backwards with good defense versus a guy that could go forward with good defense. What that makes, it makes a classic boxing match. It makes a classic fight. I'm not going to see that tonight with Tank Davis and Frank Martin. We're not going to see that. Doesn't matter what Frank Martin did in the amateurs. Aaron Pryor beat Tommy Hearns in the amateurs. Do you think at 147, if Aaron Pryor moved up to 147, y'all think he could beat Tommy Hearns as a pro? Heck no. So it doesn't matter what Frank Martin did in the amateurs. Broner is a perfect example of when, because you're younger, very athletic, but average skills at best. Exactly. Broner is a perfect example. He's great. He has the athleticism. He has the tools. But guess what? He's just an average boxer. Doesn't matter. Meanwhile, you got a guy like Wilder who looks like he's athletic, who doesn't have any athleticism, but he has the punch to save him from that. Frank Martin doesn't have that. And he's a better boxer than Wilder, has better footwork than Wilder, has a better jab than Wilder, probably does every single thing better than Wilder. But still, it's not enough. Still, he's just an average boxer. Tank Davis, we know, all of us know that Tank Davis is talented. All of us know that the guy has the tools. But if you keep fighting opposition like this, your legacy is just going to fall into the hands of what if. Your legacy is not going to be nothing to write about. You're just going to be the guy who people made highlights about, and then they're going to say, but there's nobody in that highlight. Who was these guys he's fighting? You can make a whole highlight reel of Marvin Hagler. And each and every one of those opponents was a champion or a top 10 opponent, was a formidable opponent. Every single one of them. We won't be able to do that with Tank Davis. Exactly, bro. He fought like a 40-year-old Floyd shaking weight. He fought like, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Adrian Broner was everything he could be, but he wasn't a boxer. Adrian Broner, in my opinion, is wasted talent because he had the right guidance, had he had the right trainer, and had he had the right nutritionist to keep him at 140, have the right nutritionist, have somebody watching his diet, pay someone watching his diet, because you guys supposedly make all this money, but you don't have a nutritionist. Guys, Floyd Mayweather has a nutritionist. Floyd Mayweather has a chef. Trust me on that. That's the reason why that man is, and he still exercises. That's the reason why he's still looking fit and thin, okay? If Adrian Broner had the right nutritionist and the right people around him, he would have stayed at the most at 140. Because, guys, he's too big for 135. I say this all the time. Too big for 135, too small for 147. He has the weirdest frame. Too big for 140, too small for 147. But if you keep him at bay at his diet, keep him staying at a certain weight class when he's not boxing, he could have stayed at 140. He could have stayed at 140. But unfortunately, he likes to eat cheeseburgers and chicken nuggets. And he gets overweight in between fights. No discipline. There it is. Broner has his dad genes. That's right. I remember seeing his father. His father looked like Warren Sapp. I remember that. His father was Rick Ross before the weight loss. All right. His father was a black DJ Khaled. I remember that. All right. His father had them braids. All right. Looking like a 1987 gangbanger out of LA. All right. With them braids that he had. I remember that. Bruner has dad. That's right. But anyway, y'all, in my opinion, I'm picking Tank Davis to win this fight by KO. If you guys can, I encourage you guys to stream this fight. Stream it because this is a pay-per-view sparring session. If you guys want to support boxing, that's fine. Trust me, there's enough people supporting the boxing. Believe it. Believe it. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people supporting boxing. These guys are fine financially. The rest of y'all, stream it and enjoy the fight. You understand? Peace and salute. And everybody, y'all, anybody that haven't been in here before, y'all subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be dropping that heat.